This morning, Israel is now targeting the heart of Iran in more overnight strikes. How Wisconsin lawmakers are reacting to the initial attack.
Plus, it's going to be a cold day, but then we'll see warmer temperatures and several rain chances. I'll have all the details coming up.
And later, a look at why lacrosse is being excluded when it comes to the conversations around data centers. Good Sunday morning. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn. It's Sunday, March 1st. Continuing our coverage this morning on the Israel-U.S. attack on Iran. Around 5 a.m. local time, Iran has named a third member of the Leadership Council after confirming the death of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in that massive military operation Saturday. Iran has selected a 66-year-old cleric to join the three-member Leadership Council that'll govern the country until a new supreme leader is selected. The U.S. began airstrikes in Iran early Saturday morning after weeks of escalating tensions between the two countries. Trump is justifying the strikes over Iran continuing to develop its nuclear program. In retaliation, Iran has launched missiles against multiple allies, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. U.S. lawmakers have split opinions on the strike. That includes Wisconsin lawmakers. Democratic Senator Baldwin, a statement, she says, in part, President Trump illegally bombed Iran, totally disregarding the Constitution. The Constitution is clear. If the president wants to start a war, Congress, elected by the people, needs to sign off on it. She continues to say the Senate needs to come back immediately to vote on the president's senseless and illegal bombings. Senator Ron Johnson in a statement on X saying, "May God bless and protect our troops as they attempt to liberate the long-suffering people of Iran." Wisconsin state reps also weighing in. Congressman Derek Van Orden releasing a statement. For decades, the Iranian regime has fueled terror and violence across the world. This regime has operated with immunity for far too long, spreading chaos while threatening the security of the United States and our partners. Mark Pocan also weighing in, saying eliminating a nuclear program. Regime change. Don't look at your wallets, what you are paying for due to Trump's tariffs, or care about the Epstein files. Trump wants to divert your attention and is willing to kill people to do it. In attempts targeting top leaders, footage here shows a nearby school building in Iran destroyed. Iranian state media reported at least 40 people were killed in the Israeli strike. Reuters could not independently confirm the reports. An Israeli military spokesperson today says he is not aware of any Israeli or American strikes in the area of a school. The U.S. Central Command Captain Tim Hawkins says the U.S. is investigating. Iran responded to the U.S.-Israel initial attack Saturday by launching hundreds of missiles and drones targeting U.S. troops and cities in Israel and Arab countries allied with Washington. Today, President Trump warns they better not retaliate or else, quote, "We will hit them with a force that has never been seen before." We'll have an update on retaliation developments coming up at 7:30. Meanwhile, global air travel remains heavily disrupted as continued airstrikes keep major Middle Eastern airspaces closed, including Dubai, the world's busiest international hub. Airport authorities in Indonesia's resort island of Bali said more than 1,600 tourists were stranded. Key transit airports, including Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the UAE and Doha in Qatar, were shut down or severely restricted. Let's take a look outside our weather window now. A lot of us are seeing some snow on the ground. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is in studio now with an update on your first warn forecast. Hey, Jacob, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle Renee. As we take a look at the radar, all of that snowfall is well out of the area, but we are now seeing much colder temperatures, at least this morning. Afternoon temperatures will be similar to yesterday, but a lot of the region in the single digits and in some cases below zero. That snowpack really cooling the air around it. And as we look at the temperature change from 24 hours ago, Madison is 22 degrees colder, Lone Rock 33 degrees colder than this time yesterday. And that's the case for a lot of southern Wisconsin, between 10 and 20 degrees colder for much of the southern portion of the state. The good news is that winds right now are pretty calm, and they will be calm throughout the entire day. And we also will see plenty of sunshine today. So although it will be cold, the sunny skies and the lack of winds may make it feel a little bit better, as those temperatures will get into the lower 30s. For La Crosse, kind of a similar forecast, maybe a little bit more cloud cover at times with those high temperatures, upper 20s, lower 30s, and looking up the highs across the region. You'll notice there will be a little bit more cloud cover for areas further to the south and southwest, but those areas will actually see some warmer temperatures. Now, although we will see those warmer temperatures sort of begin tomorrow, that's also going to bring a lot of rain to our area. So I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. We'll check in on that rain shortly. Across the U.S., reactions to the U.S.-Israel strike are mixed. People are turning to the streets both to protest the U.S. military action and to cheer for potential regime change. Take a look. In Washington, D.C., protesters against the military action marched near the White House. A similar crowd was seen in New York's Times Square, with attendees holding signs with messages like "Stop the war in Iran, and Trump must go." And in Atlanta, people spoke out against the current administration's use of military in general, not just Iran.
This president said that he's the president of peace, yet he's bombing Yemen, he's bombing Iran, he's bombing all around the world, kidnapping presidents of other countries. This has to end. This is not what we fought for, this is not what we stood for, and this is not what America should stand for.
Meanwhile, other people were hosting celebrations following news of the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In Los Angeles, a rally was held near a U.S. federal building complex. Demonstrators were spotted waving Iranian flags and "Thank you, President Trump" posters. The same was also true in Boston. Many of the people in both rallies were Iranian Americans, happy to see potential regime change in Iran.
So today we're here to say thank you to President Donald Trump for his support of the Iranian people and for standing on the right side of history. The people of Iran have been fighting this terrible terroristic regime for years, and the people of Iran were chanting in the streets asking for this help, for this humanitarian intervention, and Donald Trump held to his promise.
Khamenei was the second leader of the Islamic Republic, and a designated successor is now being chosen through the three leaders that they have elected. Meanwhile, in the Cooley, day 3 of the Zachary Fritz murder trial brought new testimony. Fritz faces charges for fatally stabbing his wife more than 50 times in 2024. A forensic psychiatrist tells the court Fritz knew what he was doing during the attack. The doctor disputes the defense claim that Fritz's mental illness makes him not responsible. The psychiatrist says Fritz does not have bipolar disorder based on record reviews, interviews, and 9 one-on-one audio analysis.
If I don't know anything about this case and I just listen to that audio, my mind would not go to a place where I would think, I wonder if he's manic. So it's very unlikely.
2 more witnesses testified, a former co-worker and a neighbor. Both say Fritz appeared normal leading up to his wife's death. The trial was supposed to wrap up on Friday, but ran long. Testimony will continue on March 9th. In more local news, a new report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum shows the state tax burden fell to a new all-time low in 2023. For the fiscal year of 2023, state and local taxes declined to just under 10% of personal income. That's nearly 1 point below the national average, and experts say it could continue to drop.
If taxes stay the same while incomes continue to rise, then you could see a lowering in the tax burden. So whether state and local policymakers do that, like that is a possibility. It could continue to drop.
The report does point out that a continuing drop in tax rankings is unlikely. That's due to school districts resorting to referendum to loosen state revenue limits, leading to an increase in local property taxes. Well, spring break is just around the corner, and if you still haven't booked a trip, you still have time. One travel expert says if you're looking for somewhere warm, all-inclusive resorts are great for families. If you don't want to commit to a long hotel stay, you can always get a day pass to some hotels and spas.
Flights are going to be challenging because it's all about supply and demand.
Don't forget, being flexible with your dates always keeps the cost down. State Assembly members likely ended their last session last week, despite having about 2 months left on their calendar. Republicans set the calendar and say this will give lawmakers more time to work on their campaigns ahead of this fall's midterms. But Democrats say it also means multiple efforts are stalled unless the governor calls representatives back for a special session. On today's For the Record, political reporter Elie LaLiberte presses the Assembly's leaders about that choice.
We've always tried to draw a very bright line between the political season and the policymaking season. I think it's awful that some states you are literally in session with campaign checks flying around. We don't do that. So when the legislature adjourns, about a month occurs in the middle, and then we really begin running for re-election on tax day.
On the Democratic side, we're very clear that funding schools and lowering costs are top priorities for us. We have not, I think, seen the same commitment from our Republican colleagues, but we don't have to be done legislating yet, and we hope that we can continue conversations on these important issues.
Taxpayers.
You can see the rest of Ellie's interviews this morning at 10:30 on For the Record. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. He's got your snow totals from yesterday. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Michelle, Renee. Areas to the west of Madison did see the most snow. Reports were up to around 6 to 7 inches, even up to 8 inches for places just to the west of the Mississippi River near New Albany. Madison did report around 3 inches of snow. And as we take a look at how much snow we saw yesterday compared to the entire month, it was more than the rest of the month combined. Only 0.7 inches of snow fell between February 1st and February 27th. And even with the 3 inches we saw yesterday, that still brings the total for the month of February well below average. And as we add it to the rest of the winter, we passed the 40-inch mark, and now we're pretty close to what we saw 2 years ago. And we'll probably end around that level, what we saw 2 years ago, depending on how much snow we see towards the end of the month. And I say towards the end of the month this March because the next several days, and really the next 10 days for the first half of the month, looks too mild for any snowfall to accumulate.
And we're grateful for that after yesterday. Thanks, Jacob. The Overture Center for the Arts is hosting their Fringe Festival this weekend, allowing attendees to see a number of free and ticketed shows. Based off of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival that takes place for 3 weeks every August in Scotland, co-CEO and Chief Artistic Experience Officer at the Overture Center, Tim Sawyers, wanted to bring the international experience to Madison.
The Fringe Festival, their mantra is the world's greatest stage for artists. And I just love that idea to bring it here. And we're able to do that, bringing international artists here. There's not a lot of places in Madison where a lot of the international artists come.
Madison's version of the Fringe Festival has something for everyone. For anyone looking to attend today, find more information on channel3000.com. Coming up on Weekend Mornings, we're taking a look at data centers and why La Crosse has yet to see any action.
Plus, I'll be back with a full look at that warm-up and all of the rain chances we're going to see. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. As the digital world expands, data centers are booming across Wisconsin, but so far not in the Coulee region. News 8 Now's Brooklyn Hine in La Crosse shows us what's holding the region back and whether that could soon change.
Data centers are the engines of the internet, driving everything from streaming shows to scrolling social media. I toured a data center in Milwaukee to see how they work and what's keeping one from landing here.
So when you think about a data center, this is that physical manifestation of what people call the cloud. And that's what you're going to see today.
Public data centers like Data Holdings in Milwaukee power the online world. Every tap and click runs through servers just like these.
The servers it's where you're communicating with when you're using an app or using your computer.
More than 50 data centers have popped up around Wisconsin, yet none in La Crosse. So why not here? Local experts say our scenic bluffs may cause for a tough build.
There are several things that make our area, one, wonderful to live in, but for some of these projects maybe a little more challenging. And one being just the availability of large tracts of land.
Another roadblock, internet fiber connections.
Where those connections are is another important part of where you can put a data center. So you need power, you need the connection to the internet.
Despite these reasons, the industry says for La Crosse, it's only a matter of time.
And it will definitely get to La Crosse. So La Crosse, historically a little bit underserved by internet capacity, not as critical for some of these large data centers.
And when these centers arrive, they bring questions about environmental impact.
A lot of these data centers, one of the things people worry about are the large consumption of water.
But Data Holdings says greener options are possible.
Early in a data center design, you need to make the decision, Am I going to evaporate municipal drinking water and use municipal drinking water to cool a data center, or am I going to use conventional mechanical chilling? Data Holdings shows the latter has much less of an environmental impact.
So could a data center come to La Crosse? Experts say that depends on us.
The most important thing right now that could attract a data center would be speed to implementation. So if the local people agree that a data center makes sense, a data center will happen.
Industry leaders say as AI grows, so does the demand for data centers. And for La Crosse, it may be less about if and more about when. In the studio, Brooklyn Hine, News 8 Now.
As we take a look at the 3 things you need to know, it's going to be cold today, but warmer for the rest of the forecast with several chances of rainfall. Now, we're not going to see any precipitation today with mostly sunny skies for areas north, partly sunny in Madison, a little bit more cloud cover further south. Highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s. Clear skies for everyone tonight, which will lead to lows dropping into the teens. So still cold tonight. Then tomorrow we will start to see that warm up as we will see a little bit more cloud cover later in the day. Sunshine early with highs in the lower 40s. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures beyond tomorrow, they're just going to continue to get warmer. Some days we could be getting well into the 50s, if not into the 60s. But as I mentioned, this is going to bring a lot of rain chances. And looking at the first rain chance, it'll come Monday night. Now, like I mentioned, we'll see sunshine early Monday with clouds developing later. And then as we get later into the overnight hours, we'll see some light rain, maybe some light freezing rain as well, move into the region. This is mostly going to be for far southern Wisconsin. The further north you are, the less likely you will see rain during this time period. And although we aren't going to see a ton of precipitation this time period, again, this is late Monday night into Tuesday, especially Tuesday morning, because we could see some light freezing rain that could create some very slippery roads. We may see some of that lingering precipitation into Tuesday evening. Now, beyond that, the rain chances will increase significantly once we get towards the end of the week, as we could potentially be talking about some thunderstorm activity at times, especially on Friday. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the good news is that we will be very mild, but Friday, we definitely have to keep an eye on that thunderstorm potential. And the other good news is that once we get towards the weekend, we might see some lingering precipitation for Saturday morning, but it looks like most of the weekend will be dry, and it obviously will be a lot milder compared to this weekend. Now, as we always talk about the full spring, when you have the temperatures warm up and then cool back down, there's actually a little bit more to that joking schedule. And after the second full spring, which kind of happened Friday, you get the quote mud season. And we might be in that this week, considering we have some snow packed right now on the ground and we have all these rain chances. So that kind of might be where we're going the next several days, especially if we do get those heavy rain chances, especially Thursday and Friday.
Well, hopefully everybody's got their rain boots ready to go.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you, Jacob. Now, before we head to break, here's your morning motivational quote.
Today, it's from Helen Keller.
Keep it here ahead in your consumer news. We're protecting your wallet with a scam warning for weight loss drugs.
You're watching Weekend Mornings. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In your consumer news this morning, the demand for weight loss drugs is high, and so are the scams. Scammers know weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro are costly products, and they're looking to take advantage. Experts say scammers are selling fakes online that could contain dangerous ingredients or nothing at all. And unlike the real thing, you don't know what you're injecting. Marissa Pruitt, manager of Amplify's Obesity Clinic, says if something feels off, pay attention. Look for warning signs like severe stomach or chest pain, rashes at the injection site, or even mood changes. Wisconsin Better Business Bureau says last year online shopping scams were the top reported scam, with weight loss drugs being a big target.
We're seeing, fake websites. We're seeing AI generated ads with fake endorsements, fake text messages, email.
Look for words that are spelled wrong, missing punctuation, capital letters in the middle of sentences, and sentences that just don't make any sense. If you think you've been scammed, report it to the BBC or FTC immediately. And Novo Nordisk says it will slash prices on its weight loss drugs Wegovy and Ozempic starting January 2027. The drug maker says it will offer both medicines for $675 per month. The company also plans to sell its type 2 diabetes pill for the same price. In a statement, Novo Nordisk said the decision was made with patients who have high deductible insurance plans in mind. Again, that starts next January. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hey.
Hey, Michelle Renee. Let me take you through a detailed look at all those rain chances that I've been talking about this week. So the first one will be Monday night, mostly in the form of light rain, and that will continue into Tuesday. A light wintry mix is possible with that. Then as we get towards Tuesday night and Wednesday, right now the rain chances will be hit or miss. This model is showing the rain staying south of us, but some models are bringing that rain across southern Wisconsin during that time frame. But the best chance of rain this week will be Thursday and Friday. Thursday, we'll see scattered showers, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms move through. And then for Friday, we'll have a better chance of some thunderstorms, especially once we get towards the afternoon. And right now, this is setting up as that potential to where we could see some minor severe weather. Now, it's very early to say for sure if that will occur, but it looks like Friday afternoon into Friday evening, we'll have the best chance of thunderstorm activity. And the good news is that although we may see some lingering rain Saturday morning, it does look like we will be pretty dry once we get towards those weekend hours.
Thanks, Jacob. Still ahead on weekend mornings, we're sharing this week's playlist pick from Lisa. Be like Lisa and email me a song to Mr. Quinn at WISCTV.com with the subject line playlist picks. And tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song. Keep it here. We're back right after the break. Right now, a nonstop air train of strikes is developing. That's in those details of the U.S.-Israel strike on Iran and how the country is retaliating. All of those details are ahead this morning.
Plus, closer to home, it's going to be a cold day, but then we'll see warmer temperatures with plenty of rainfall. I'll talk about all of it coming up.
And the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra is releasing the lineup for concerts on the square. The music in Madison all summer long. That's ahead. It's Sunday, March 1st, and you're watching Weekend Mornings. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn. Thanks for waking up with us. We begin with developing news. More strikes are being carried out in Iran this morning after Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in a massive U.S. and Israeli military operation Saturday. President Donald Trump is warning Iran against conducting more strikes today, Sunday. In a post on Truth Social, President Trump writes, quote, Iran just stated that they are going to hit very hard today, harder than they have ever been hit before. They better not do that, however, because if they do, we will hit them with a force that has never been seen before. Iran responded to the U.S.-Israel initial attack Saturday by launching hundreds of missiles and drones targeting U.S. troops and cities in Israel and Arab countries allied with Washington. Christian Benavides reports.
The U.S. and Israel launched more strikes today on Iran after taking out the country's supreme leader, dictator Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and many of Iran's senior leaders. On Saturday, U.S. Central Command released video showing cruise missiles firing from an American warship and fighter jets taking off.
And this is all a precursor for follow-on strikes over the next, I would suggest, probably 2 weeks, where we go after the other targets that didn't need the surprise that the targeting of the Iranian leadership did.
Overnight, a cloud of smoke could be seen rising in Tehran, while this was the scene in Tel Aviv after a missile strike. On Sunday, tear gas was fired as protesters gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, and several protesters were killed outside a U.S. consulate in Pakistan. There were also celebrations around the world, including in Los Angeles, the largest diaspora of Iranians in the U.S.
Every single people in Iran knew that the only way that this regime is going to go away is that to attack them.
And across the U.S., anti-war protests. Hundreds marched near the White House and in New York City.
We organized today because ultimately we recognize that the American people are overwhelmingly against these foreign acts of aggression.
CBS News says there were no reports of American casualties after 24 hours of the initial strikes on Iran. Let's get you started now with the first look at your first warn forecast. Jacob Montesano has that. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Michelle Renee, as we look at the temperatures this morning, they certainly are on the colder side. A lot of areas in the single digits. Lone Rock below 0. Many locations also in the teens. And the areas that are in the teens, those are the best case scenario temperatures right now. And looking at the change from 24 hours ago, Lone Rock is 33 degrees colder, Madison 22 degrees, but a lot of the area between 10 and 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday. Now, the afternoon temperatures will be similar to yesterday afternoon, and we're also not expecting any snowfall today, and we also will see very calm winds. So as far as, quote, cold days go, this is going to be one of the better ones with the sunshine, calm winds, and temperatures right around 30. So not too bad, all things considered. These temperatures are going to be below average for this time of the year. And La Crosse will have a very similar forecast with a good amount of sunshine, maybe a little bit more cloud cover, but calm winds and highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s. But today will also be the coldest day going forward, but that will also bring in the chance of rain. So I'll talk more in detail about both coming up a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Jacob. We'll be checking in shortly. To more top stories. In Rock County, the man accused of killing his friend last February is being convicted of first-degree intentional homicide in Beloit. On February 3rd, 2025, Rock County officials say 32-year-old Dennis Banks Jr. pistol-whipped a friend before shooting another in the face. A witness described the altercation as a one-man stampede. Banks Jr. jury trial had over 24 witnesses testifying. Alongside the homicide charge, he is also facing a conviction of possession of a firearm by a felon, recklessly endangering safety, and battery. The district attorney's office says he will be sentenced to life in prison with potential room for argument on parole consideration. He's set to be sentenced June 10th. Local fire and rescue services say 14 sheep died in a fire in Walworth County. Sharon and Darien Fire were both dispatched to S&D Town Line Road, just west of Delavan Lake, just before 7 a.m. Friday. Additional fire crews ended up assisting in taking the structure fire down. There were no injuries to humans. Officials say it took just over 100,000 gallons of water to put the fire out. They are continuing to investigate the cause. And in Oconomowoc, a garage is damaged after a fire Friday afternoon. Crews were dispatched just before 4 p.m. following the reports. They believe it was caused by a faulty piece of woodworking equipment. Damage to the structure was limited to smoke and water, and no injuries have been reported. In more local news, the John Nolan Drive reconstruction project is now in its 4th month. And crews say they're on track. Right now, we are well into the second stage of a 2-year project that has 3 stages. The current phase is aimed at working on roads and bridges on the Monona Bay side. This summer, they anticipate moving on to the Lake Monona side. An engineer with the project says the second phase will last about a year.
It's really exciting, especially right now. You're seeing some really major changes. The bridges are in the process of being removed on that old southbound Monona Bay side. That's ongoing, but a lot of the bulk of those old bridges is gone now, and they've even started work on setting up some of the footings, abutments, and piers for the new bridges.
In total, 9 bridges will be built. There will also be enhancements to the shoreline, park space, and the roads. And heads up, if you drive on University Avenue starting Monday, traffic will be down to 2 westbound lanes from the Hawthorne Court project. The lane closure starts at 7 a.m. That's from North Bassett Street by the James Apartments to North Lake Street. Metro bus routes are not expected to be affected. The work will roll out in several phases and will eventually impact North Lake Street and West Stoughton. And the city is hoping to make the Wilson Street area a bit more accessible by adding new public parking spaces there. 12 spots for public use are now available at the Wilson lot located at 499 East Wilson Street. They'll be usable after 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and all day over the weekend. The time limit for parking is 3 hours, but be aware the meters don't take cash or coins. You can only pay by card or your phone. Let's check in now on your snow totals from yesterday. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has that. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle Renee. We did have several reports up into that 6 to 8 inch range for areas further to the west, and across southern Minnesota there were reports up to 10 inches. Now Madison did see 3 inches officially. And so if we look at how much snow we saw yesterday compared to the rest of February, we saw over 4 times as much from yesterday alone. Now that's obviously not saying much because February 1st through 27 was very, very dry. And even with the 3 inches yesterday, the total for the entire month well below average. But if we take a look at how much snow we've seen so far this winter, we're now past the 40-inch mark, and we're very close to average up until this point in winter. We'll probably end up pretty close to what we saw 2 years ago, depending on how much snow we see towards the middle and end of the month. And I'm not even really considering the first half of this month because over the next 10 days, temperatures will be very mild. So there's pretty much no chance of snow, at least for the near future.
All right, thanks, Jacob. Now to your playlist pick.
He said, I want to see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better.
You're listening to Colder Weather by First Time. No, you're listening to Colder Weather by the Zach Brown Band. Now, Lisa sent this song in yesterday morning. Thank you so much, Lisa. Everybody be like her and create a weekend playlist with us by sending me a song with the subject playlist pick to Mr. Quinn at WISCTV.com and tune in on weekend mornings to hear your song. Coming up on weekend mornings, we're breaking the newly released lineup for concerts on the Square. Keep it here. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. New this morning, the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra is now releasing the lineup for 2026 concerts on the Square. June 24th, Joel and John Piano Men legends come to the Square. July 1st, United in Sound, the 8th duo D'Amour with Strings. And Under Paris Skies on July 15th. And later in July, Hollywood Hits comes to the Square on the 22nd. And on the 29th, Rhapsody Squared. All performances begin at 7 p.m. You can start setting up blankets on the Square beginning at 3. An American Medical Association study says colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer deaths in people younger than 50 in the U.S. It continues to be a leading cause of cancer deaths for adults around the world. Dr. Rupa Shah joins News 3 Now's Kyrian Lee for this morning's health conversation.
March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Wellness coach and SSM Health family medicine physician Dr. Rupa Shah joins us to share what everyone should know about colorectal cancer, including symptoms and current screening recommendations. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So first, what is colorectal cancer and who is at risk?
So colorectal cancer starts with small little growths in the colon or the rectal region, okay? So they started these small little mushroom-like, smooth, polyp-like growths. And then from there, the polyps start to grow, and in that transformation, they can start becoming cancerous. Once this happens, they start invading into the wall of the colon, the rectal, and into the surrounding blood vessels, and then they can spread to other parts of your body.
Okay, and so what are some of those symptoms that lead up to this?
Well, unfortunately, initially, there aren't a lot of symptoms, right? Because these polyps are growing, you don't even know they're there. But later on, of course, there are some symptoms and red flags that you really need to be aware of. People can start noticing weight loss, changes in the caliber of their stool, having diarrhea, constipation, blood in their stool, or just having some new onset anemia. And just all of a sudden having anemia could be an indication that that polyp or that cancer is slowly bleeding inside of your colon.
And what can we do to help prevent colorectal cancer?
So the great news is we have so many great screening tests out there. So the key really is screening. Colonoscopy is still our gold standard. I know a lot of people don't love to get their colonoscopies. They're a little involved. You have to do the prep the night before, but it still remains the gold standard. So the best way to get direct visualization of your colon by a trained gastroenterologist. If you are not up for that, the Cologuard is an excellent DNA-based test, which is just amazing. So it can really pick up those abnormal DNA in that polyp and let you know if there's something more serious going on. And it's something that you can take at home. It comes to your home, you put a small stool sample, and you mail it right back. So super simple and easy.
Okay, so lots of options out there.
Really good options.
All right. So make sure you're taking advantage of those screenings.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, Dr. Shah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to see cold temperatures today, warmer for the rest of the week with several rain chances, but we're not going to see any of that rain or snow for that matter today. We'll see plenty of sunshine for Madison and areas to the north, a little bit more cloud cover further south, highs in the upper 20s to lower 30s, but then everyone will see clear skies tonight with lows dropping into the teens, maybe some areas hanging on to the lower 20s, and tomorrow we will start to see those temperatures begin warming up, upper 30s to lower 40s for highs, a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon. We'll see sunshine early, sunshine early, clouds later in the day, again highs in the lower 40s, and from there temperatures will continue to warm up. Plenty of 50s will be in the forecast by the end of the week, and we also could see some high temperatures getting into the 60s at some points. Now let's talk about those precipitation chances. The first one will come tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. Now we'll see those clouds increase Monday afternoon, and this first round will be mostly light precipitation, but it could bring in some light freezing rain and maybe some light sleet, which could create some slippery roads for Tuesday morning. Excuse me. Now, again, this precipitation is going to be light, and it's mostly going to be for far southern Wisconsin, areas to the north, less likely to see the rainfall, and this light rain may continue into the afternoon. But from there, the rain chances will increase and also potentially bring in much heavier rainfall, especially once we get towards the end of the week, Thursday and especially Friday. That's when we could see some of the heavier rainfall, which could also lead to some thunderstorm activity and also a minor chance of some severe weather at times. So a lot of rain is in the forecast for the second half of this week especially, but we will see those warmer temperatures, and it does look like we actually will see pretty dry conditions over the weekend after some lingering precipitation comes for Saturday morning. Now, again, more good news is the fact that even when we do see that thunderstorm activity potentially roll through Friday, we also are going to be seeing the temperatures not fall too much. We'll be in the upper 40s for the next several days, then maybe the upper 50s Friday, and as we get into the weekends, we'll drop a little bit, but we're still going to be well into the 40s. So just about every single day in the forecast after today will feature temperatures above average. Now, we do have that snow packed on the ground, and we also have that rainfall in the forecast, so we'll likely see some pretty muddy conditions out there. But beyond that, we'll take the warmer temperatures, I'm sure, despite the fact that we do have plenty of rain chances. And again, minor chance of severe weather, but we will have to keep an eye on that potential for Friday as it gets closer.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you, Jacob. We've got a birthday to celebrate today. Sheriff Dawson is turning 3. Happy birthday, Cowboy, from everybody here on the Weekend Morning Team. We'll be right back after the break. After that break, we have the highlights at the Kohl Center during the State Wrestling Championship. And Jacob will be returning with a look at those potential rain chances. It's Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Breaking news right now, 3 people are dead and 14 are injured following a mass shooting in Texas. It happened in Austin at Buford's on West 6th Street early this morning. A suspect was fatally shot by police officers at the scene. Around 2 a.m., the first responders were on scene in under a minute, treating a total of 17 patients. 3 were pronounced dead at the scene and 14 were transported to area hospitals. Time now 7:49. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano.
Thanks, Michelle Renee. Let me take you all through a more detailed look at those rain chances this week. The first one will be tomorrow night in the form of mostly light rain, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix, and that may continue into Tuesday, especially Tuesday morning. Then for Tuesday night and Wednesday, we do look to have a small chance of rain. Now, this model is keeping that rain south, but it definitely could drift up into our area. Better rain chances will return again for Thursday and Friday. Thursday will feature scattered rain showers, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms, and right now the best chance of some heavier rain and potential thunderstorms will be Friday. Now, it's still several days out, so a lot can change between now and then, but right now it does look like we are going to see that potential for thunderstorm activity Friday. But the good news is that although this will continue Friday night into very early Saturday, most of the weekend at this point looks pretty dry.
It doesn't get a whole lot better than Championship Saturday at the Kohl Center. A field of 800 wrestlers arrived in Madison earlier this week, hoping to be crowned as champions. And yesterday, there was the chance to do just that. And as always, the Kohl Center was packed for the chance to see something like this. Wanakee's McCoy Smith, who is committed to play football for Wisconsin next season, had some unfinished business on the wrestling mat, bringing the first state title to Wanakee since 1987.
Feels awesome. I'm so grateful. My coaches, they've helped me every step of the way, every hard practice, every time I got my butt kicked in practice is now, I don't care about that anymore. I'm so happy. I've worked so hard for this, and for it to finally come true is awesome, and I can't thank anybody but my coaches and my family.
Down to Division II at 175 pounds, two wrestlers from our area battling for a state title. Mount Horeb's Eli Meyer gave it his all he had, but Evansville's Thomas Heiser wouldn't be denied. Taking his 3 seed all the way to the podium, the sophomore is your state champion.
It means a lot, and it means that I put a lot of work in, but this isn't the only point I want to go to. I want to go to points higher than this. This is just a stepping stone to where I want to reach.
And we finish with the girls at 126 pounds. Who else but Maddie Peach? The senior from Milton keeps on winning. She caps off her high school career with her 3rd straight state title, finishing off a perfect 43-0 season, solidifying herself among the best girls wrestlers in our history of Wisconsin.
Definitely, there's a lot of adrenaline going on, but I mean, this is my 3rd year. I kind of have a routine that I do, and I definitely get nervous, but I'm a little bit more used to it now, and I was just ready to go out there, do me, and yeah.
Tons of wrestling this weekend from the Kohl Center. That is all for morning sports. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, Nash. You too. A research group at UW-Madison is changing the way one of the world's most popular sports is played. Soccer-playing robots are serving as a test bed for artificial intelligence. Their operating systems follow an algorithm that specializes in reinforcement learning, allowing the robots to acquire skills by doing similar actions over and over again.
Our main focus is that we don't want the robots to just play soccer, but we want them to learn how to play soccer. And each robot can only perceive what is coming into its cameras, and it's got to figure out what are the right actions that it should take to achieve a goal. In this case, getting a ball into a net. You really have to build a complete system, putting it into a situation where there's an adversary who wants to do better than you are. So it really kind of stresses building that kind of complete, robust system.
UW's Robo Cup team has a track record of being one of the best in competition, coming in 3rd last year during the Standard Platform League Championship. This summer, the team will travel all the way to South Korea. Still ahead on weekend mornings, a new flavor release from Bluebell. Plus, here's a look at what's to come on For the Record. Coming up on For the Record, what a new Marquette Law School poll tells us about voter opinions ahead of the spring Supreme Court election. Plus, where do property tax relief negotiations stand as the Assembly has adjourned for the session? And is there more work to be done? Then later, as Black History Month comes to a close, we're discussing local history. That's ahead this morning on For the Record at 10:30. You're watching Weekend Mornings.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Finally this morning, Bluebell Creameries is adding another flavor to its roster. Honey vanilla ice cream arrives in stores on Thursday. Bluebell describes it as simple with a mild sweetness. Honey vanilla is only available for a limited time. I definitely think that I would like this.
Yeah, I probably should go get it. When is it available?
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna hop on board. That sounds amazing.
Honey and vanilla is a good combination,
Yeah.
especially in yogurt. It's pretty good.
I agree.
Well, here's your morning motivational quote from Helen Keller.
Thanks for watching Weekend Mornings today. Coming up next is CBS Sunday Morning, followed by Face the Nation and For the Record.
And we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with our quote, so I'm just going to read it to you this morning.
Hey, go ahead.
That is, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. Join us next Saturday. We're spotlighting a local band on next weekend's playlist pick in your morning notes.
Our next newscast is coming up at 5:30. You can always find us streaming on Channel 3000+.
Have a wonderful weekend.